Hello, Imaginers. It's Kyla, coaching you to the career and life that you imagined. It is a couple days away from Valentine's Day, so I wanted to talk about what I call a love list. I use this a lot with my clients to help them identify what is something in their career that they already love. And I always think of this similarly to when you're dating someone, you're always sort of looking out for what are things that you love about that person. And then perhaps if you're early into dating, what are things that are non-negotiables? And this is something that I use again to help my clients uncover things that are already there. And we use this during the bigger uncovering process to really look at what could we, if we were to create their ideal job, what would we keep that they're already doing? And then what would we add on to? And the way that we decide what to keep is by identifying what is already working. And so I call this my love list. And I wanted to share a few of the things from my own love list that I realized I wanted to continue in my business, in my coaching practice, and then also share a couple fun little things that I love as well. The first one is, as I talked a little bit about, uncovering purpose. And I was thinking back to when I started managing people in corporate America. Oftentimes, what I had a lot of strength in and understanding almost intuitively was what they should really be focusing their efforts on. So, a version of what their strengths are, but even the ability to be able to see where they could apply those strengths. And sometimes those strengths were outside of the company. And I always noticed a sigh of relief when I had those conversations that were uncomfortable, but I could tell that they weren't in their natural state, in their zone of genius. You've probably heard me call it before. And because of that, I wanted to help them to see where they could really take their career. And this was something that I often got into some trouble for because I I helped people to leave the company at times. And sometimes I would have someone above me say, why did you help them leave the company? And I'd always say, well, it serves them the best and it serves our company the best. If they're not in the right career, then that's not good for the company nor themselves. And so I often tell my clients sometimes things that you get in trouble for are things that are strengths that come to you so naturally that others can't necessarily identify it as a strength. And also it can be something that goes against the current environment, like me not wanting employees to keep leaving the company. And so again, I encourage you to kind of think about what is something that you get in trouble for, that you feel drawn to, that I always say is not on your to-do list. Because if it's something that is not on your to-do list, you're already doing it because you love to do it. It comes naturally to you. It doesn't even occur to yourself to give yourself credit for it. So those can be signs of uncovering, again, those nuggets, those whispers of purpose. The second one I wrote is I love to curate information, but I specifically love to curate brain hacks, ongoing neuroscience developments, ways that we can hack our lowest part of our brain to help move humanity into, again, that beautiful zone of genius. And with my clients, helping them to understand where their brain is standing in their way when their long-term best interests are not being served is a way that I curate a lot of different kinds of information in neuroscience and personal development, in psychology. I believe that the brain is one of the areas that we still barely understand. And if you look at what has happened in neuroscience in the last 20 years, we've made extraordinary advancements in understanding it. So I love staying current on all of those developments, on research. I'm always simultaneously reading 20 books on the topic. And again, really extracting those beautiful nuggets and then creating a process that my clients can use to help them hack their own brain and again, overcome what is standing in their way. And then the third one I wrote is any form of creativity is something that I love. And I didn't, even though I worked in communications and marketing and speech writing throughout my corporate career, there were only elements of creativity that I could sort of push to a corporate limit. And, you know, ideation about things like the future of work and, you know, how as a society we would be working, you know, creating campaigns that were oftentimes considered audacious or even sort of out of the box. You know, there was always limits on what I could include in that communication or marketing. And in my own business, sky's the limit. And so it's been so fun to incorporate creativity into my thinking, into creating content, into, you know, little things like drawing a heart on this bulletin board, using different colored markers. I love, there's a lot of kinds of crafting that I love. And I love to buy cards. I love to buy stickers. I love to buy different colored markers. And I have a gift box that I send new clients, and I incorporate some of that creativity into that gift box. And that is an incredible part of weaving in my creativity and things that I love to do that I would be doing anyway into my business. And so again, for me, it was starting to identify things that I loved in my life, in my former career, and creating a list of those things that I wanted to continue as I moved into my true self, what I believe is the evolution of the person that I was really supposed to be and the career that I was intended to have. And so again, with my clients, this love list really helps them to identify what is already working in their life so that we can build on that when we're going through and considering a major change in our life, such as leaving corporate America to create the life that you really want, the career that you can't believe is the job that someone would pay you for because it feels so easy and so magical. When we're thinking about going through that process and that change, our brains can put up a lot of roadblocks and create a lot of scarcity for us. And so we want to ensure that we are starting with abundance, and abundance can come in the form of a love list. A few little bonus things that I love. You've heard me talk about travel before. I also love any form of learning, and I call this tea tours. I love iced tea. I love hot tea. I believe that, you know, trying different kinds of tea is almost a form of someone who really loves to try different wines. And so I create little tea tours, as I call them, for myself, which is, you know, trying different tea shops, trying different kinds of tea. I love afternoon tea. I love visiting parts of the world that are famous for tea. And again, these are things that I've incorporated into my business. Sometimes tea is something that might show up in a client gift box. I definitely incorporate travel into the life and career that I imagined. You see me working and traveling to different places around the country and more around the world now that we're getting back to the new normal. And again, learning comes in all different forms, but now it's part of my business. Learning, curating information is now part of what I use to create different processes for my clients, different approaches, so much of the work that helped me create the life and career that I imagined. So this week, as we celebrate love, I want you to think about what would I include on my love list and think about all of the things in your life that you already love. Continue to build on those and then maybe add some more as you go into the week ahead. As always, I'm cheering you on to the life and career that you imagine. Take care.